G'day folks, welcome to Saturday afternoon. Got a few little things to go over and look at tonight. I want to do the Ford tonight, make sure I clean up that idle air control valve or whatever's causing that slight idle problem. I've got a fan or some kind of cooler thing, vintage, to look at very shortly, and yeah, just general mucking around. There's not really much else to do apart from tidy up and finish some projects and things. First up, I just want to thank Leo Kim Video for supporting this push for, I suppose, more sense with the whole flagging rule. He's done a nice little video for me and everyone else. Yeah, what can I say? Thanks, Leo. I recall the first video of yours I saw was involving flames, and they were coming out of an old turbocharger and trying to make a jet engine out of it. So yeah, I'm sure if I did a video like that it'd probably end up flagged. Go figure. But yeah, I'm going to post a link in the description to this video, as well as a previous one on Chinese appliances that he'd been meaning to do, so we'll include that as well. Likewise, I'd like to congratulate Photonicinduction for already getting almost 80,000 views on a flagged video. That's pretty good. He got flag bombed presumably by the same people that hit my flame spin video. Again, it was only maybe half an hour after the video was uploaded they bombed it. In the case of my video, it was barely up 10 minutes before it got bombed. And contrary to what some people think, it's not just one person doing it. It is actually people working as a group. They're organising this somehow. People have come forward in the past exposing pieces of it. I recall somebody a disgruntled former flagger, actually showing up one day and or just sending me a private message and just saying, look, they do it as a group. He said something about Facebook. I can't remember anything else. It was a while ago. But yeah, they orchestrate it using some kind of private messaging on YouTube or Facebook or something like that, and they hit certain groups of videos. And Leo sort of confirmed that to me a while ago as well, or a couple of days ago. He sent me a private message saying it is an orchestrated thing. It's not just a random disgruntled person just decided to click flag. It's actually legit. So yeah, I'd like to congratulate Photonic on that one. I'm going to put a link in the description, and I encourage everyone to give it more views. Tweet it, post it on Facebook, get more views. It's already flagged, they can't do much worse. So yeah, and that's playing with a few volts at many thousands of amps. Something which I want to do shortly too, and I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, seemingly innocent railway cable is going to end up getting wrapped around a old arc welder transformer core. I'm going to cut the old secondary off it. I don't have the transformer yet, I'm sourcing it at the moment, but I'm going to cut the secondary off it and rewind it with this shit. That's serious cable. I'll try and get 2 or 3 turns onto it and crimp some big eyelets on the end of it, and that'll be it. Should get maybe a couple of volts and several thousand amps, and I don't give a shit if someone wants to flag it. We're going to make this keep this real. Keep cranking out the videos. Just a simple little item like this looks fairly inconspicuous, but well, that's a oil burner jet housing, so again, fairly inconspicuous, but still something which people object to, which is unfortunate. But my grief isn't with them, it's with actual YouTube. Right now I don't give a shit about the flaggers. They're lower than whale dung as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not fussed about them, I'm fussed about YouTube and their standards. Or double standards, or multiple standards, triple standards, who knows. Yeah, I think it's time to clean up a bit around here and have a look at that thing. Oh yeah, and I did figure out how to make a hard drive speaker. In this case, stereo speakers. And it's a lot more simple than I thought. I mean, I realised these use a voice coil to move the head, or the swing arm. But at first I thought it might need to build a better driver for it, which it does sort of seem to need it. But you can still get sound coming out of it simply by connecting your wires to the magnetic coil in the swing arm. So there's 2 pins down there, and all I had to do was trace them back to the connector, which is these end two. Because these are a pair of Seagate Medalist 4321s, and it's these 2 end pins here. So all I've done is solder wires to them, glue the lot down to the back panel with a bit of silicone, and all I've got to do is just put a lead on it and plug it into an amplifier, and that should work. So I'll do that in a minute. I'm just currently moving stuff around and cleaning up, and we'll have a look at that Carlson room cooler, or Stromberg Carlson. It looks very old. It's got a nice big fan inside it. I'm curious as to how it works. If it's anything but a fan. It doesn't look like any kind of evaporative cooler unless there's part of it missing. I wonder if there's a base unit, if it would be evaporative. There we go. Just figured I'd quickly attach a lead. I haven't done any final connections or anything, but I'll just do a quick test just to show it before I put it aside for a while. This is playing track 7 from Quake 2 soundtrack. Pretty much everything's copyright these days, but this sounds pretty good on it. And it's the coil in here that's making the noise. If you could actually put a diaphragm or something on it, like a speaker, it'd work a bit better. Head position doesn't seem to matter either. Well, somewhat. There's a slight difference. But that's all that. Kinda cool. And yes, a few people ask me what camera I'm using. I'm using a Panasonic Lumix TZ10. It's not bad for a micro cam. I love how reflective these discs are. So, that's stereo hard drive speakers. You don't need a special driver after all, that's coming straight out of that IBM ThinkCentre, which has a basic low-level amplifier. If I were to get a jack adapter for the amp here and plug it into the headphones output, I'd be able to get much better volume out of it. In theory, it shouldn't hurt the amp. I mean, the coils aren't that solid that it would constitute a short circuit, but yeah, it should be just fine. You just need a really good amplifier to run it. Anywho, that's that one. Oh yeah, I was pinging some old hard drives with chunks of lead solder and old screws and things last night just for the hell of it. And well, apparently the IBM Death Star hard drives have glass discs. I did not know that until it exploded. And now there's shiny pieces all over the floor. So yeah, just like a laptop hard drive, they have glass discs. It's kind of interesting though. Spectacular the way it failed. I'd do a video on it, but well, you know, even if you just have an air nozzle and a piece of plastic tube with something stuffed down it, it's still classed as a firearm, so I'm not going to incriminate myself any more than I already have. So that one can go in the bin too. I guess I better get onto this fan thing and then move on to working on the Ford. I want to find out why the idle isn't working properly. Okay, so I'm just looking over this little fan unit, which is all it is. It's not an evaporative cooler or anything, it's just a fan, draws air in the bottom and discharges out through the top via this cone. Just blows it out through the top. It's a bit beat up. I did find it at the junkyard. But most of this is pressed aluminum, so it's pretty easy to straighten out by hand. A lot of these dents will come straight out. Cable on it's very old. I don't even know how old this unit is. It just says Stromberg Carlson part number 28395. 240 volts, 50 hertz, 0.34 amps. Yeah, plug needs a bit of resurrecting, if not replacing, but I don't really want to ruin it by putting a modern lead on it. This old rubber insulated stuff is still good. Must have been stored in a cold, dark place for a while, because normally this rubber insulated flex is broken down by now. I mean, it's almost broken down. You can see cracks and things in it. But we'll play it safe and just plug it in as it is. Die-cast feet with wooden washers. That's the fan speed there, slow or fast. I'll start it off on slow. I'll just grab a screwdriver and make sure the fan blade moves. If the bearing's all stuck, it's not going to do anything. Yeah, interesting little contraption. Never seen one of these before. It must be very old. Okay, so let's see if something good or bad happens. It moves, but I think it hits the housing at a certain position. Being thrown in the scrap bin kind of hurt it, so I think I'm going to have to take this apart before it'll run again. Yeah, I can hear the motor humming, but I can't see any real attempt at rotation, so I think it's time to straighten the whole thing out and try again. Well, Google's your friend. Found it. This news ad was run Saturday 14th of March 1953. So it's pretty old. There's a whole article and everything on it. So apparently it lifts cool air off the floor, which is basically the laws of thermodynamics. Cold air drops to the lower level, hot air stays up high, and projects it upwards. So it's basic ventilation fan, but it actually moves cold air from the floor upwards. It's not too bad. Nowadays everything's air conditioned, but back then in the 1950s, well, air conditioning would have been a really expensive luxury. Really expensive. Probably a few evaporative coolers and things would have been somewhat affordable to higher income families, but lower income, nah. I recall the price is 18 quid. 18 pounds. Probably a lot back in the day. Yeah, it looks like Stromberg Carlson also made a lot of fancy radio and television gear as well. There's various pieces of equipment. Nowadays they seem to make grab rails and equipment for RVs and caravans and things. Might not even be the same company, I don't know. But back in the day it was all vacuum tube amplifiers and TVs and fans and things like that. The old telephone. I wish I could find a telephone like that. So hard to find now. Vintage telecommunication equipment and TVs and things. It's getting very hard to find. And very sought after if you do find it. People pay a lot of money. Well, I got the frame back into shape. It's fairly easy. Just give it a bit of a nudge and it came back in nice. Just going to straighten a few other little bits and pieces up, and I'll probably take the fan blade off and give it a clean up, because I can see a ballast type coil, probably for the low speed setting, and a lot of degraded rubber wiring. The blue wires going to the motor look like they're falling apart. Definitely 50s. A lot of mouse poop and crap on it. Yeah, I'm going to take the blade off, take the bottom of the housing off if I can, and just clean every little bit of it. Probably not now, but later on. I want to look at the Ford before it gets dark. Pretty sure it's just the idle air control on that thing, but hate to find out it's something else. Not that I don't have the micro to drive around in. Even though the rear brakes are leaking, they're not dangerous. They haven't failed completely. I mean, that car doesn't even matter if I don't put it in my name. The lady who owns it doesn't care. Yeah, so I'll keep it in her name until I have plenty of surplus money, and we'll look at roadworthying the Micra. But until then, it's just a runabout for town. I wouldn't take it any further anyway. Little cars like that get scary at high speed. That's on high. Yeah, it's a bit imbalanced. I think the fan blade's a bit bent. Noisy. I'm not going to push that motor any further until I clean up its wiring and make sure that that coil in the bottom is intact. We don't want to blow it up. Not that I'd really trust it as a day-to-day cooler. It's just, it'd be nice if it was in good working order when I put it on the shelf as a collectible. Just like my other vintage fans and things. Yeah, just thought I'd take the top off it anyway. It's got about, yeah, a lot of decades worth of crap in it. Motor's like a shaded pole motor, but it's got 2 poles instead of 1. I suppose an induction motor then. There's a pole there and a pole on the other side. At first I thought it'd be a shaded pole, but it's not technically, I suppose. It's just a regular 2-pole induction motor. Yeah, the old rubberized electrical flex is kind of breaking down. It's very delicate, so I'm going to carefully replace that eventually. That stuff's alright. Yeah, it goes back to the switch. Interesting. Definitely old, I'll give it that much. 1950 something to now. It's done pretty well. Just straighten out that fan blade. One of the blades is a little bit bent. Good bearings though, I'll give it that much. Cleaning wise, yeah, I'll be careful what I use on that. It's alloy, so I can push it back into shape with my own bare hands. I don't have to bang on it or beat it. Nice little collectible. Anywho, that's about all for now, and thanks for watching.